The following program was made possible by the National Wheelchair Foundation with extremely generous contributions from dents like you.
Money.
Good job, bud.
Money, a ton of money. As long as I print money today, that's all I care about.
Hey guys, it's Derek here, and I wanted to apologize to Reese Robbins. I'm extremely sorry.
Hello and welcome to the internet. I am your host, Detractor Media. So today we have a beautiful clip of DSP defending his right to say the R slur. And of course, his explanation is filled with hypocrisy. Without further ado, DSP, the floor is yours, dipshit. Go right ahead, bud.
I'm sorry that you don't like the word retarded. I hate to tell you, it's not a swear, and it's not a horrible word. It's something that when I was young was used on the schoolyard when we were all 5. And just because society is now ultra sensitive and thinks it's an offensive word, it's not. Sorry. It's just not. It's nothing offensive about it. If something is retarded, it basically means that it's kind of stunted, it's slowed down, it hasn't had full development. Now, yes, there is a actual condition called mental retardation that's different than saying it is. It's completely different. It's not even the same terminology. It doesn't mean the same thing. When I say that the guy his thoughts are retarded, I mean, he's a slow guy. He's thinking dumb things because he listens to gullible people and he doesn't fully think out his thoughts.
So number one, that's not what it means. And you know that's not what it means. And you know that that's not the way that you use it. You use that as a derogatory term for people who are stupid. And by people, I mean people that you don't like. You don't mean it as somebody who's mentally deficient. You mean it as somebody who's an idiot, a moron, a mouth drooler. You know, those words that you use on a regular basis in the same way that you use the R slur.
There's nothing wrong with saying that at all. It's time to stop with bullshit. It really is time to stop being so weak and scared about saying words that are common words that everyone should be able to use because some people in society got sensitive about it at some point. That's absolutely ridiculous. You're right. People are becoming more and more sensitive, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, I just said this the other day. How do people go to the doctor, and the doctor says to them, just so you know, you are overweight. It could do you some good if you lost some weight because, you know, you're going to have health problems. And then people freak out. How dare you say I'm overweight? That is offensive. You have triggered me. But I'm the doctor. It's my job to tell you these things so that you can improve your life. You can't tell me that. People just can't handle reality.
Isn't that weird how when we tell him that his wife is fat, because objectively the last time that we saw her, she was pretty overweight, he gets really sensitive about it. He gets really defensive about it and he cries. Isn't that weird? Isn't that sort of the pot calling the kettle black? When it only works when it doesn't apply to you. When it does apply to you, it's hateful. It's bullying, it's a slur. There's no apparent irony in his life. He has no self-awareness that everything he's saying in this almost 10-minute clip applies directly to him. Everything here applies directly to him. Wait till you hear the end. The last little cope part, this is all cope. The last little cope part, I mean, 100% every word he's saying applies directly to him more than anybody I've probably ever met in my life.
You know what I'm saying? They just can't. The terminology that was used by small children in the 1980s cannot be offended. You know, are you offended by the word dork?
Okay, also, to debunk that, I wasn't alive in the 80s, but we used those words in the late 1990s, early 2000s when I was a small child on the playground. But it's also important to remember that other words that we used on the playground were the F slur, were the N word. We called people anti-Semitic comments. We didn't understand the Nazis and used Jew jokes all the time because we thought that was funny. But I remember a lot growing up here in the Deep South using the N-word all the time. I was a small child, Phil. Does that mean I can use the N-word now? Does that mean I can use the F-slur now? Does that mean that I can, make jokes about Jewish people now that I'm an adult because I used them when I was a kid? You see how stupid that logic is? You see how flawed that logic is directly when you apply it to now? It doesn't make a fuck what you did when you were, 80 years ago when you were a youth. What matters is now, the moment where you are 44 years old currently, and here you are still saying these slurs. that even if you don't find these slurs necessarily offensive or gross, it's still the optics that you have a long history of saying words just like this, saying words in the public sphere that are offensive, that are straight slurs or vulgar or disgusting. You yourself have a long history of doing this. So this is just another one. If it were my friend who accidentally said the R slur or something, when he was mad, okay. Yeah, it's gross, but you don't do it all the time, right? It's just a slip. It's completely different when you apply it to you as a grown man who says this shit on a regular basis. And there's also, keep in mind, a video on my channel from a week or so ago where I did an almost 8-minute compilation of him directly saying the hard R N word and the F slur over and over and over again. The terms of service that those directly break, and the links to his channel with the timestamps of him saying them. You have a long history of this, Phil. That's why this is such a big deal, because it's you, not because it's somebody else.
Do you know what a dork is? It's a whale penis. I'm serious. When you call someone a dork, you're calling them a whale penis. Is that super offensive to you? It might be to some of these people. They might actually be like, you called me a penis?
I mean, also a bundle of sticks is another word that's a slur, but let's not talk about that. Let's just move past it.
Dare you? How very offensive, right? Like, who cares? Stop with the nonsense. Stop being so sensitive, right? Starshine Radiant says people just love being outraged constantly. Some people, anyway. Doesn't matter what the trigger is. They're constantly looking for excuses to freak out. You're right. You're absolutely right. In modern society, here's the truth. In modern society, we have it too easy. Because back in the day, no one cared what you called anyone because everyone had to struggle. Everyone had to work hard to try to make a living. Everyone was trying to get safe.
Oh, this is about to be a super, super dented take. Just grab your popcorn, boys, because holy fuck, this is about to be dented.
And affluence, a place to sleep that was nice and comfy, food on the table for the family, staying healthy and healthcare, things like that. All these things were hard to get. So when that was the focus of existence in life, survival, you didn't have time to worry about bullshit. But
keep in mind, he's saying this while he has $46 in tips, and I think we know why he's being so aggressive.
Now what's happened is our lives have become so easy and so complacent. Everything is instant gratification. We all have food. We all have money. We're all safe. We're comfy. Well, now we need something to get upset about.
Yeah. Also, the cost of living is higher now than it has ever been across the world. More people, on average, don't have money to pay their bills or to even get by. Life is exponentially more difficult now than it was in the 1990s and the 80s or the 40s whenever he was growing up. Life is exponentially harder now, and people have less of an expendable income now than they have ever had in the history of modern society.
And it's not survival anymore. Now it's bad words. Ooh, bad words. Oh, let me put it this way. If the biggest concern of your life is that you're offended someone triggered you, that's a good thing. Because that means you actually don't have any actual discomfort or stress or strife in your life. You're actually nitpicking for things to get upset about because you're bored.
Now, it's also important to mention that a lot of people here in this community that are offended by the gross shit that you say, especially specifically in this sense, the R word. A lot of these folks have children that are disabled, have children that are special needs. It's not a desire to be outraged. It's just either a parental, if you are a parent style human, it's either a parental instinct, or it's just the fact that you're old enough to know better. You're old enough to know that these things are gross. People say this stuff all the time. It's subjective as to whether or not you find it offensive, but in the macro, in the micro, this word is universally understood as a slur. It's also really important to note that this word, the R word, is a bannable offense on YouTube. So just keep that in mind. I'll put it up on screen now. Using the R word is a bannable offense on YouTube, and he uses it all the time. So do with that information what you will as an adult styled human in this world. But most of these folks are not looking to be outraged. It's just a instinct when you hear somebody say something gross. As a 44-year-old man, or as a younger style person like me, it's instinctual to say, bro, really? Like, you're 44 years old and you're still saying that? Like, figure it out, man. Like, you don't have another word you can use to sub that in. Again, it's really for him specifically, it's about the optics more than it is anything else.
So congrats on being bored. If you're triggered and offended by these silly words, good for you. You must have a really good life. But keep it to yourself, because no one cares. No one in reality actually cares about your sensitivities. Seriously, okay?
But yeah, dead air, nice. But it's important to note that we should care about his sensitivities when it comes to his fat horse wife. We should care. And most of us, if he wasn't so hypocritical, I think a lot of us wouldn't fuck with Kat the way that we do. We wouldn't talk shit about her. It's just the fact that he is so hypocritical directly when it comes to things that apply to both him and her. So no one cares about your sensitivities, pussies. No one cares about it, wokies, brokies. But hey, don't talk about my wife. That's not cool, man. I'm sensitive about that. I'm gonna get aggro, and I'm gonna ban all of you, and then I'm gonna go on a rant for 15 minutes about how my wife isn't fat anymore. We've changed our diet. She doesn't eat out anymore. We eat turkey every goddamn day. Turkey chili and turkey dogs and turkey salad and turkey sandwiches and, turkey apples and turkey carrots. So no one cares about your sensitivities. But if you mention my wife, you're banned. You're banned. You're fucking dead to me. You're scum. You're awful. I hope we all understand, because I over-explained that entirely too much. But you're welcome.
Okay? Of course, it's about intent, because here's the thing. The use of terminology can be used very differently. It can be used to weaponize. It can be used to massively offend. It could be, but to use a word the proper way and to then be told, oh, that's offensive, is actually more offensive than if the person used it in a defensive way.
Yeah, so you using the R slur in a way that means somebody is stupid or, somebody is just a dunce, as you like to say, it's not the proper way to say it. You using the R slur in the proper way would be somebody is legitimately mentally deficient, like Jade and most of your wheelchair audience. That's the proper way to say it. Someone who is mentally deficient, who is on the spectrum enough to where they can't take care of themselves. They have no social acclimation. They don't know what's going on around them. They don't know the social cues of like, hey, you're standing too close to that guy, or you're just staring at him like Jeffrey goddamn Dahmer with your hands by your side. Those are people that are mentally retarded. But you're using it in the derogatory way of people that you just don't like. And that's a very important distinction. And you said yourself, it's all about intention. It's all about intention. That's right. You're using a slur. The other slurs, the intention doesn't matter. The intention is irrelevant when it comes to the N-word, when it comes to the F slur with pretty much everybody, but some of you pieces of shit like to say that word out loud. But when it comes to the R slur, there's a gray area where it's been socially acceptable in some circles to say it. And it is kind of about intention. I'll give them that it sort of is about intention. Again, if you're saying it in a medical way, that's one thing. Clearly, every time you say it, Kino Casino says it, and a lot of these detractors say it, you're saying it in a derogatory way to offend someone. That's the wrong way to say it. And you know that's the wrong way to say it. And you wouldn't be so offensive, so defensive about it if you didn't know that it was the wrong way. You know what you're doing. Full well you know what you're doing because you're like old as fuck. So figure it out.
Because you're using it in the intelligent way. The word was designed to be used. And then people are pissed. That's not your problem. That's theirs. You see? But listen, I get it. Because what happens is then once a word is deemed as offensive, now all of society has to act that way, because if not, you're not PC anymore. You're not politically correct, right? You're not doing the right. You're not being Mr. Nice Guy. And I just don't get it. I don't. It's not a slur. Let me say that again.
Go ahead.
That word, retarded, is not a slur.
Spoilers, that word is a slur. The culture war thing is such a weird topic to bring up in regards to DSP. he's so on the fence about it, right? He's so anti-woke when it works for him. He's so pro-woke when it works for him, right? He talks about all these games that are woke, and then the ones that he likes, they're not woke. They're to everyone else in his dented audience, it's all woke. But to him, if he likes the game, it's not. He's such a fence sitter when it comes to that politically correct, the social wars, the class, whatever it's called. He sits on the fence so hard. He sits on the fence so hard. It's just aggravating. That's one of the most frustrating things about him, is that just like the R slur, just like what he's saying right now, it works when he wants it to work. It doesn't work when he doesn't want it to work. And there's no gray area. It's all or it's nothing. Everything about him is all or it's nothing. You either make a lot of money and you're really successful, as he says, with his streams and his content, or he doesn't make $150 and he's not successful. The stream was a failure. The game sucks. It's gone to banned world. It's dead to me. Fuck you. Fuck that game. And fuck Kojima. Well, Kojima didn't have anything to do with the game. Well, fuck him anyways. But yeah, it's either all or nothing with him in every aspect of his life. It's either you're successful or you suck and you're a failure and you can fuck off, which is not how it works. Spoilers.
Look it up. It's not a slur. It's not the N-word, okay? The N-word is a slur. The N-word has no positive meaning. It's all negative. It's not a descriptive word meant to do something. It's just meant to offend.
Yeah, so keep in mind, the R word has a positive, according to DSP, unbeknownst to me, the R word does have a positive meaning. There's a positive way to say that word. I would love to have him explain that. I would love to have him explain what the positive way of saying that word is, because guarantee the explanation is complete shit. It's dented. It's incoherent. But I would, regardless, either way, I would love to hear his explanation, his cope, as to which way the R slur is positive and constructive. That would be a great thing to listen to if you really enjoy punching holes in walls.
Okay. This word, retard or retarded, is not an offensive word unless you take it that way.
Okay, so by that logic, your wife is saying your wife is fat is only offensive if you take it that way. I don't take it that way. But you do. Isn't that weird? Isn't it weird how that works? How you can turn that around on them and directly show you how stupid what you're saying is. Also, I think I said this earlier in the program. The R slur is a bannable offense on the website youtube.com. Again, a bannable offense. I will put it up on screen right now as to what TOS that breaks and how it breaks it. Just want to throw that out there for anybody that's interested. That is a bannable offense on youtube.com.
So stop. Like I said, I'm not even exaggerating when I tell you this was something said on the schoolyard when I was a kid. And it wasn't, no one got angry. People thought it was a joking term when it was used on the schoolyard.
Okay, so one last time, I just want to drive the point home very quickly. What happened in the early 80s when you were like my age or whatever is completely different than what's happening now in modern society. Things change. Things change over time. People progress, sometimes digress, but for the sake of the argument, we'll say people progress. In this sense, we don't have slaves anymore. Saying the N-word isn't a common thing anymore. Over time, things change, Phil. That's this really weird concept called progression, something that you have not been able to see in any sense since you were probably, in like primary school. Progression. So yeah, what happened in the 1980s when you were like in your 20s or 30s or 40s or whatever, however old you are, those things don't apply to modern society. So I don't know if I said that in this. I've done this several times, so let me shoot this again. When I was a kid, growing up in the Deep South, it was very common for children to say the N-word because our parents mostly said it, right? We aren't saints. So I said the N-word when I was a kid, I said the F slur when I was a kid because I didn't understand what those words meant. But now I'm an adult. Can I still say them? Are they still offensive because I said them as a kid? Yeah, they're still fucking offensive. They were offensive back then. They're offensive now. The only difference is now I, as a grown adult, know why. I understand why those words are offensive. That's not a defense that something that was cool 40 years ago should be cool now because it was cool then. Well, yeah, like I said, there was segregation in the 1960s. And, people were pretty vehemently against, merging black folks and white folks. Should that still be a thing, Phil? By your logic, it dictates that all those things in the past, we should still be cavemen drawing on walls, running away from Tyrannosaurus Rexes, building mud huts and running away from the rain. That's not how things work. And that's not how... I hope that you would know that that's not how things work. But I wouldn't put too much faith in that because you're really stupid. So you might honestly believe that logic. And it sounds like you do, bud. And it's just fucking embarrassing. It's just really embarrassing. But okay, go ahead, Phil. Let's get this over with. Wrap it up, bud. Figure it out.
Why is it offensive in 2026? Are we going back to... When I was a child, it wasn't offensive. So what are we going with, the baby levels of intelligence? That everything is just offensive? This is insane. Okay. No, you see, exactly right. Layla says it goes both ways. Because that's true. Because it's not that everything is allowed either. Because here's the real problem with human society today. Everyone is a simpleton in their head, and everyone thinks the extreme. It's either everything over here is offensive completely, or absolutely nothing could possibly ever be offensive. So either everything is forbidden or everything is allowed. When in reality, life is more complex than that, and it takes a level of intelligence to discern between the two.
Yeah, so again, that's another example of the all or nothing mentality that he has, where it's either you are completely on this side or you are completely on this side. There's no in between. I think my neighbors are cutting the grass for the 12th time this week, but it's either all or nothing, one side or the other. There's no gray area in between. You're either Republican or Democrat. There's no in between in the middle of them. This is another example of the fact that he doesn't understand that there's a gray area. There's an in between, between those two extremes.
Some things that are fine, there's some things that are too far, and you have to have a level of discretion and a level of maturity and intelligence to know that. Most humans don't have it.
I was literally about to say, Phil, you have none of those things. I was getting ready to pause it before to say that you have none of those things. That directly applies to you, man. Come on.
They see black and white, right and wrong, good and evil, hero and villain, and they don't understand that life is actually so many layers of in-between gray mixed together. They're not smart enough to know. They just want to coast through life. Duh. Tell me what to do. Tell me what to think. Do everything for me. So I don't have to work hard or think hard or do anything difficult. Just let me coast. Well, some people don't want to coast. Some people actually want to think for themselves and do for themselves.
Isn't that just the pot calling the kettle black? Isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? Some people don't want to think for themselves. They want to be told what to do, where to go, what to think. Isn't that truly the pot calling the kettle black? What a delusion he lives in. What a delusion he lives in every day to lie to himself that he's successful, that he's not an e-beggar, that he's not overly sensitive. Although if you mention anything that is irrelevant to the game or him, you're banned. You're derailing the stream. What a delusion that he constantly lives in. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, I really do feel 100%. I really do feel that it's this last generation, the eternally online, was born with the internet the moment they were born, have been online the entire time. That's the generation that's the problem right now, because they've never actually had to work. Everything is given to them. Instant gratification for any piece of information you want is given to you instantly. You get entertainment, you get your food, you get, everything, data, electricity, safety, everything is just instant.
So it's important to note, he gets his food delivered directly to him. He gets money from wells that he begs aggressively for donations. Everything is paid for by dents, by people that are in a truly meta irony, people that are mentally deficient take care of every aspect of his life. Everything that he gets is instantaneous. He pulls Hogan's and it's instantaneous. He orders food instantaneously and it's shipped to his door within a matter of minutes. Everything that he orders something and he orders it overnight to pay and pays more money for it. It's almost instantaneous. He's chronically online, has no life outside of the internet, has no friends, has no allegiance to anyone. Again, the pot calling the kettle black.
Don't even understand that if you disconnect from the internet, there's a world outside of it. Instead, you're stuck on the internet, offended all the time. What? Anyway. So, really stupid. I'm sorry I got triggered because I did. But I get offended when people get offended by common terms because you think, oh, society changed now. That's not allowed. No. What happened is you're too simple-minded. You can't think past what a bunch of hate mob people on the internet said. You know, what is wrong with you? Just stop. Think for yourself. Act for yourself. Do for yourself. Stop trying to be someone who just wants to be accepted by everyone. I need to be so politically correct. That's ridiculous. What a way to go through life, to worry about every moment that you're actually doing something. You're walking on eggshells because you're so afraid that someone's going to be offended by something you do. What? You crazy? Anyway, sorry about my rant. I'll still hang out with you guys for a few more minutes here.
And it's very important to note that he follows this whole rant up. Well, I don't know why I said it like that. He follows this whole rant up with a beg, a very long, like 15-minute beg with like 2 or 3 minute breaks in the middle of them, and continues this for the better part of an hour. That's how this stream ends. He made $57. I believe 20 of it at least was in fake tips. So he made very little. Like I said earlier, hence why he was so aggressive, hence why he was crashing out the whole time. When he doesn't get money, he's really nasty to his audience. And he gets really, really offensive or really defensive, and goes on rants. This is more of what we're seeing now, where most of his streams are propped up by 1 or 2 people or just fake tips. And I think the Pokemon grift is coming to an end. I don't think that's going to last much longer. He's already moving on to was Magic the Gathering and other stuff because he's so desperate. So we sent TCG to Ban World last night, as far as I'm aware of, for the foreseeable future. We'll see what else happens. I just love watching videos like this where it's so easy to debunk him and the things that he says because his logic is so stupid and he doesn't see it. But it turns sad when you realize that a good portion of his audience doesn't see it either. A good portion of his audience does not see the direct hypocrisy and how the things that he says just doesn't they don't pass the sniff test. The things that he says don't pass the sniff test. Anyways, without further ado, I've been recording for almost half an hour. Happy summer. I hope everybody's having a good summer so far. It's hot as balls down here, but we're figuring it out. Can't wait for the fall, man. Wait for Halloween and stuff. But I appreciate all you sticking around. We've gained almost 150 subscribers in the last week and a half or so. So the channel is growing at a pretty alarming rate. Big ups to Downbacking. This video came from his channel, youtube.com/@downbacking. I'm in his streams most days if I don't have like a filming obligation to follow through with. But his channel is growing at a crazy rate too. Super proud of that guy. He's a good dude, man. Y'all go check out Downbacking. Thank you to the people that came from his audience to check out my stupid little channel on the internet. Some dumb Cajun guy running his mouth about some ex-fat guy who's now a meth head or something that begs for money on the internet. Anyways, thank you for watching. I've been your host, Detractor Media. Hold on, interrupt myself again. I'm streaming with Downbacking tonight, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on my channel and on his. At Downbacking, at Detractor Media. We're streaming together, live restreaming DSP's night stream tonight, 9 p.m. Central Standard. Important to note, come to me, come to him, come hang out with us. We're just glad to have you. Thank you for watching. I forgot my outro. Thank you for watching. I've been your host, Detractor Media. Y'all be good or be good at it. And I will see you tonight, 9 p.m. for the live stream. Bye-bye.